Did Jason Collins' decision to come out about a year ago do you think it had any impact on Michael Sam's decision?
Well, all I know for sure is that Jason Collins was part of the kind of brain trust around Michael Sam, speaking with him, talking to him about the proper timing of when would be the most optimal time to come out. Michael Sam, I mean, as Wade Davis, who's a former NFL player, who's out of the closet LGBT man, he said it so clearly. He said it's not that Michael Sam came out as much as he let us in. And Jason Collins was one of the initial people that he let into that inner circle to start talking about this. So there's no doubt that Jason Collins coming out had a huge, huge effect. Of course, Jason Collins is still a man looking for a job, finds it easier to get in the First Lady's box seat at the State of the Union address than he is finding an NBA locker room. Now, of course, there are a lot of arguments based on merit that says, well, maybe Jason Collins has passed his days on the court, and I accept that and hear that. But at the same time, you can't say that the co-SEC Defensive Player of the Year, and by the way, 8 of the last 10 SEC Defensive Players of the Year have been first-round draft picks. You can't say that this is someone who should not be drafted by an NFL team. It's ludicrous.
Michael Sam said he is not an activist, but is that essentially what he's going to be if he plays professional football, whether he likes it or not?
Well, when he said that, I was reminded of a quote by Muhammad Ali, who once said in the 60s that he wasn't an activist. This was early on after he came out against the war in Vietnam. He said, I'm not an activist. He said, you won't see me ever holding a picket sign. And the thing about Muhammad Ali is that he was like a human picket sign, like his mere very presence was something that engendered a political response. And I think that's something that Michael Sam will have to deal with. Anytime you have a first, that's going to be part of the blessing and the burden of being a first. And in Michael Sam, I mean, like everybody, I've done a crash course on Michael Sam in the last 24 hours. I mean, he's 24 years old, for goodness sakes. He seems more than capable of being able to handle this. And it's frankly gobsmacking to me that not only are NFL executives saying this isn't the kind of person we want on our team, it's a distraction, but the most cowardly part of all, Chris, the most cowardly part is if you look at their quotes, they're putting it all on the players. They're saying the locker room can't handle it. It's them. It's the players. It'll upset, as one put it, the chemical balance of a locker room. And it's like, no, it's really not the players at this point. It's fearful executives.
All that being said, Dave, if he does get drafted, is it important what type of team that he goes to?
Totally.
What type of team would be the best fit for him?
5,000,000%. And we got an object lesson about this with the Miami Dolphins this year. Look, NFL locker room culture is determined from the top down, not the bottom up. It's not a players' league. So you want to be on a team that has a general manager and a coach that's on board with making sure that the locker room is a safe space for every single player, no matter who they are, not just Michael Sam, but for every player's challenges. I think about Mark Trestman and how he runs that Bears locker room is a great example of this. That's where Michael Sam hopefully will go. And frankly, I don't see a team drafting him that wouldn't have that mentality.
If you were a friend of Michael Sam, what would your biggest concern for him being going forward?
My biggest concern for him would be feeling down because of the immediate response from NFL executives, keeping his head up and letting him know that there are a ton of players out there, according to polls, and a ton of fans who will have his back and hope very, very strongly that he makes it through this entire process intact.
Fast forward a year from now. Say we're having this conversation 1 year from now. What are we talking about?
I think we're going to be talking about more players who, because of Michael Sam, feel the confidence that they can come out as well and say, you know what, this is who I am, and I'm not coming out, I'm letting you in.
Do you think he's going to have that big an impact in 1 year?
There's a lot of chips have to fall in the right direction for that to happen, but I think that is the chance, yes. And frankly, I think that's why it makes a lot of people so scared.